Yes, you can. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I like what's annoying about her is that it seems like Fugue's build is relatively like set, right? Go 160 plus speed with I don't know the Firefly set, or two piece, and then have the ER requirement, have the break effect requirement, and call it a day. And it's just so like, is that it? Is that it? Like, is that literally it? Get 220 break effects, get 67 effect hit rate, and that's it. And then 160 speed, and that's it. That's it. That can't be it. Like, where's the rest? Where's the rest? I don't know. Oh, where's my controller? Okay. Wait, are there multiple adventures? Oh, neat. There's, oh, you have both? Oh, neat. Supports are usually easier to build. See, you say that. You see that, right? But you say that. Okay. But seriously, no. What's with all the Von Wax, right? Like, I am gonna learn Star Rail so hard, okay? I'm gonna learn Star Rail so bad, it's insane. I have got to know this Von Wack action advancing dance, like speed calculations, like, because you know what? At a certain point, just clear the content, whatever, cool. But I have to understand how the speed thing works, okay? Because if I feel like I understand how the speed thing works, I will feel less pressure to pull things because I'll know how to work around speed better. And if I know how to work around speed better, then I can counter power creep in my own way, right? Like turn manipulation and action advancing and not being able to clear fast enough and all that stuff. Like, no, I'm gonna learn how this speed action advancing delay thing works. And once I figure it out, it's GG's for Star Rail. It's over. It's over. Okay. Like Fugue and Harmony Trailblazer and we're gonna figure this out, okay? Ranmei, all right, and Von Wack and Winset and Shui and we're gonna figure it out, okay? And Robin, all right, and Bronya and Sunday, we're all in this together, okay? Like all of this, we're gonna figure it out, all right? We're gonna break the bitch wide open. But before we do that, we should play Ace Attorney. So let's start with this. And Jiao Cho. Who? What? Oh, okay. Last time on Ace Attorney, we woke up in the middle in a wardrobe. Okay, we woke up in a wardrobe. Our best friend was murdered. Okay, we don't know what happened to him. We woke up and he was just gone. Right. We are the prime suspect because the door was locked and we were the only one in it, and it's all my fault. And so we need to figure out how we're not at fault, um, so that we can get off this ship and clear our innocence. So what I'm hearing is you'll eventually be in Eagle Hell. Yeah, because I'm like, here's my question. I'm not sure about this, but Vin, listen to me. Like, if you go, say for instance, I go a normal build with normal relics, right? Like my best in slot, right? If I go quantum set and on Shui and I go at 134 speed and call it a day, right? So my question is like, but what if I acted more often because of win set or Von Whack, right? Would I do more damage acting more often than I would otherwise do on my quantum set? Is that how it works in Star Rail? I don't know. Because if you're moving like twice as often, isn't that like double the damage, even if it's like less, right? I have no idea. That's why I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, what if I could just move so quickly and move so often that I could just run speed stuff and just keep moving over and over again. I don't know. It's something that I need to figure out. It could just be a waste of time. That's why I need to do more research. But once my brain can comprehend it, it's over. Anyway, yeah. We have a escaped stowaway as well from Russia who was in a ballet troupe who was abused and needed to leave that system. So now we need to help keep her identity concealed and find out why in our room somebody might have been in here that would have killed Kazuma. Sound good? Okay. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we managed to find some clues as to what the speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We will never get past the sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us, as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where'd he go? Oh, yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. There's nothing to examine. Is there anything on the right? Nope, that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. Nothing seems to have changed. Why is his belly showing? What? What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe you want me to throw you out again, Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have you throw it out, I'll show you where the lobsters spend winter, understood? His what is showing? He's got a look! Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhado-san. Oh, man. I guess I gotta go back to my cabin, right? It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hasanaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? You mean when he let us go free? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhado-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd say he'd lay his life out for you. He lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes! But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have new information for us. You never know. Yeah, I was just talking to him. Yeah, it's probably... When they tell you to do something, I probably should just do it. I'm starting to realize that it's just kind of a waste of time to not follow the sequential order that the game leads you in. Oh, you look fucked up. You're back. Inspector? What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. These are just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard, so it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little more about the neighboring cabin. What's to say that he didn't do it? Yes, so I understand. Oh! I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think it was German, though. Oh, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikola Pavlova? She's in the next-door cabin? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oops. I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, no, I definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There's one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. New information. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. Let's see. Buria's medical officer has finished the examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. It's poisoning, right? It has to be poisoning. Something toxic. Kazuma's post-mortem report. He ingested something. He inhaled something. His lungs. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae. He was choked? I thought there was no physical damage on him. Oh, it could be internal damage, actually. His neck was broken. Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. That's not true because they don't know. No, that could very much so not be true. You know why it couldn't be true? Because it could be a different new poison that they don't know about, right? What if it's a new toxin? And what is the advancement of the technology on this ship? What access do they have to technology that allows them to be certain of that information? I think it's fishy. I think it's fucked up, and I think they're lying. You're lying! What weapon was used? Nothing has been found as of yet, but the fact that there's no signs of a wound suggests that it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Well, Ace, your theory hinges on that Ryunosuke ate less of the poison, right? Yeah, so it should be in my system too, right? All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It's a possibility, and no obvious wound has been left. Isn't the blunt object that thing in the back? Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to letting you leave this cabin in the first place, would I? There were no signs of external injury or poison. That's not true! No, because Ace Attorney does this thing where it's just like, just sorry, but the autopsy report was updated. Like, sorry. No, you're lying. All the books for the passenger occupying this cabin neatly arranged on the shelf. You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabin leads to damage. But the fact that you left... I thought we were supposed to leave the crime scene undisturbed. And you disturbed it by moving all those things back where they needed to go. So probably that's a reason to pay attention to it. That's weird. That's weirdly... Does that make no sense, right? Why is she so adamant about not touching the crime scene, but then was adamant about, like, tidying up the thing? I don't know. So it's clear that these letters were written with ink that was somehow spilled on the floor, and they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an ambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words or word in Russian, which begs the question of who did write it? Why would he write his last words in Russian? That's weird. Does he know Russian? So the ventilator joins to Miss Papalova's cabin. Yes, that's right. Just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerge from it. The speckled band, as he describes it. But if Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it. Wait, if only she'd be able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we were. There's something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. This is unrelated, but if I was ever dying, I'd make my last words something confusing for no reason. What would my last words be? It was fun while it lasted. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please be safe. Who's going to do my dailies? My password is quote 50. The eternal LA oasis at long last. If only I could do it all over again. Anyway. This is where he spent his final moments writing his diary. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Chloe. Oh, I was just kidding. What a letdown. You, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I went to the bathroom. Who gave you permission to go next door? Well, Seaman Hasanaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into a ball and throw him in cold room. Oof, he's gone back to guard the door. I hope Hasanaga didn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time for Naruhodo-san. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass. Do you see? Shoe polish? Did I have... Okay. That must be it. But how did Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Sasada-san? Well, Kazama-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? Sort of dark brownish red, then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Does this mean that this mark was made by the shoe polish on his shoes as they scuffed on the floor? I have no idea what this could mean. That really is all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well... I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asugi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have a heavy head ever since I woke up this morning. Why do multiple people have headaches? It's some sort of neurotoxin. It has to be. Is that what happened to the crew as well? Did the crew also have some issues last night? Which is why they were nervous? A heavy head? That's interesting. Did you eat the same thing I did? My head's still throbbing too. Was it the chicken? Because he doesn't like chicken. Is there something in the chicken? It was the chicken. It could have been the chicken. Like if Ryunosuke doesn't eat chicken, or sorry, if Kazuma doesn't eat chicken. Well, I thought the chicken was lovely. Oh, back to the hallway, I guess. Do we see him again? Is he here? Look, Naruto-san. Seaman Stroganoff has gone. Strong enough. The burly sailor who was always crossing his arms and glaring at us. Ugh, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la. Do you hear that? It sounded like someone is singing. Tra-la-laria-lay. I did it the great detective way. This caroling. I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Before that stringy knot crewman comes back. Oh my god. Are we actually gonna go in here? Why do we say Kamala into this cabin? There's clothes in here now. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. Not a moment to waste, Naruhata-san. We must invest as quickly as we can. Not just for Kazama-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at the port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhata-san. By ourselves if we have to. Okay, so what was in here? Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret, because you're not allowed to bring animals on the SS Maria. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. It doesn't look like it's been dropped, like it was there, put there deliberately. Milk? Do you think that there could have been a leak in the roof above here? Is there milk in here? It would seem that this teapot is empty. Okay. The natural conclusion is that Russians are a very thirsty people. Or because Miss Pavlova only came to the cabin last night and she hasn't had a chance to make tea yet. I mean, it could be either. What's this? Is there something in there? I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. It's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh well, that's a little disappointing. There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. So what's going on back here? It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks! All the books have been toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's that's the god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's the exact same bookcase next door in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase? I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from the ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them over in a fit of rage? Why would they be knocked over at the same time, though? I'll set them straight again in here, too. Yeah, there's the thing. We gotta inspect this. This is too important. So the ventilator connects to the cabin next door. Yes, although, what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Maybe it's so that there's a gas leak next door. The occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupant of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. Kazuma wrote about a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. There's one of these next to the bed and Kazuma's cabin too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. No, don't. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate. What's in this? Are you there? Sorry, I'm right here, yes. Why? I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me. I didn't have some strange compulsion to jump into every wardrobe I see. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping that we'd find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but I guess not. Well, the last thing here is the door. This cabin has the same simple sort of bolted latch our door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anyone could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across on its own accord, would it? If we hear somebody coming, should we lock the door? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets stone bolted from the outside. And it seals up perfectly, too. So you couldn't use the method that you told me of passing a thread through the crack around the closed door either. Is there anything left? I guess I should move out then. Oh my god. Jump scare? Oh, Mr. Sholmes. He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Tra-la-la-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. You don't think he has noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it was lucky Sherlock Herlock was about. What's to say that this, like, thing right here, this little speaker thingy, what's to say they couldn't have, like, put poison in that thing? Excuse me. I solved it all and stood it tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Oh my god. You wanna fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing. Just as I was about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never gonna stop, so I figured it now wasn't good as a time of enemy. I nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. All right, I get the picture. Now, could you put the fist away?
Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Yes, that. I was immersed in the study of the ship's log as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. And did you find anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there's nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... Doesn't that also mean that, like... the people who came in here to investigate also didn't log themselves coming in and out? People should have been logging after 2 a.m., right? You truly are a student of the land of the rising sun. You are utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem that the same crewman stands sentry in this first-class passageway. It has almost the religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. So he writes that every 30 minutes. Nothing to report. Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when it is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure that something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribbling nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Now that deduction is worthy of a great detective. You're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes Sholmes? Brilliant. Oh. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? No, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter... Now, wait! A toxin? A poison? Something everybody ate? Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... Well, I feel the same. I'm sorry? Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had something of a headache. Some sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? Everybody... Seasick? That means something was in the food. I guess we could check in here again. Oh. What was that? Hello? Shut down engines immediately. Vessel sighted at quarter mile 4. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. Uh-oh. What the hell are we gonna do now? What is this? What is this? It looks like we avoided a collision. Can we check behind the wardrobe, please? I think the ship has come to a stop. Are you hurt? No, I'm okay. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like Inspector Hasanaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door quickly. The bolt? The bolt locked itself. The bolt locked itself? When we tilted to the right. Was the door actually open because we tilted to the left? Which is why the books were also to the left as well? Maybe I didn't lock the door. Yeah, that would make sense. The door is bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And it looks... Look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I better tie this place up first. Our violent emergency stop has solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Well, that was short. What? Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. You, what are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? You both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we're gonna collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. How did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. The person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. The crew are running everywhere. The first class area is the only quiet part of this ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? You wicked intruder, dressed in all black. You are the devil. Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector. Yes? Arrest this man. I know he did it. He's a criminal. Is that not enough? Is it not enough that he has killed a man? And he's a stowaway as well. If this Vexen promises to not steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She's right. You are a devil. It doesn't look good, does it? There's a cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hasanaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I have got to find a solution. Immediately. Miss Pavlova, can I get out? Listen, I'm sorry that we stuck in here without your permission, but get out now. We just need to investigate it here to help understand what happened to... Please, just give me a little more time. I do nothing for you, except show you the way to the ship's prison cell. Ugh, thanks, but no thanks. But I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone. And trespassing and stowing away? Well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down unusual avenues. And well, enough, you are guilty. Ship's cell is the only place fit for you. My bad. You got yourself into a difficult situation here. By entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry, I was just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I can do to help you. If I push my luck further, a punch to the face would be the least of my worries. What are you gonna do, risk your life for me? I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin. Now that this has happened, I'll have to report to the captain at once. A savior? God damn it. What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Shalms. Naturally, I was analyzing the weight. What weight of 20,000 rubles feels on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This is mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, no, no. Why were you hanging from the hook before? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of 20,000 rubles naturally, I wish to determine if it would bend to that conceited looking hook on the wall, full of brag and bounce. Oh my god. You again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me elsewhere, somewhere else other than the hook next time. What is it to report? Speak. An urgent report from the great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel has been solved. By me, naturally. What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I'm about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction of the case. Oh boy, here we go. You've solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing the student boy this morning. We found the criminal in the wardrobe. It's the stowaway. And he has the handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it! The trouble is, there appears to be no one else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Locked room, that's the point. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin unless there was trauma or rocking of the boat. You were all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes the... Wait, what? It gapes open-mouthed at you, even as we speak. What? The ventilator, man. The ventilator. You think this is funny? I can't even put my arm through that hole. You can... That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. But it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. A snake? An animal? Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 123. I can hear a faint whistling sound.
Somebody who, what's it called?
A whistling sound?
Somebody who is expertly trained at using animals and used a whistle to control it and tell it what to do and
Looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I'm about to expose for you all will shock you to your cores. Behold. What the?
I knew it!
Allow me to introduce to you all to the band, the speckled band.
A snake?
Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It's more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case, you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think that this is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it's time to explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I've drawn from the facts. Number one, last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life.
Did he get constricted to death?
She turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Mr. Sholmes must be right. He hit the nail on the head. This woman's friend killed Mr. Asugi. It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend of yours in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. His whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And is that very pain that evidences your inexorable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what is the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that... Portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without a doubt, your friend is the withering serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question of a tale of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, the specimen's markings do not fit the description in any way. What explanation can they give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have to answer this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. The snake's slow skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. What? Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side of the bridge, the serpent silently descended upon the victim's quarters. At the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. Why wouldn't he hit it or move? Or draw his sword and cut it up? In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it slows its skin. A snake so dreadful we can only imagine it will be found in the deepest depths of India. Okay. How Mr. Asogi died. Did he try to step on it? Okay. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? Why did he also write Russian? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there are no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. That's what I thought. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence that can affirm it at the scene of the crime. An examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. It could be that scuff mark, right? The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. The vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. There is no point in feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. It's telling that the victim made a note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend. To train? Indeed, you'd put the serpent through the ventilator and wait. After a period, you summoned it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared to not have been dispatched, you would release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature only needed to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled man that took the poor man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. What if it was a spider? What if it was a spider? Well, a spider wouldn't rupture the case. A rat? No. Miss Papalopa has trained her pet as a killing machine. There on the floor, you observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible. You solved the mystery. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I can see why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Can I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what is on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. Well, I welcome questions to my method, and will answer both loud and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Rat, cat, bat. Rat, cat, bat. What else? What other small mammals could you carry with you? So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using a milk as a reward. No matter. Know that Miss Pepper will use some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there's something else. Snakes have no ears. So I'm not sure if it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling. But madam, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sound of the flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. What? Alexa, do snakes have ears? What the fuck? They're deaf? They're deaf? What? I thought they had ear holes. I thought they can't hear? Dude, snakes can't hear? I mean, I know that's why, I know they flick their tongue to smell and bleh. They can sense some vibrations. So if I was talking to a snake, like my pet snake, it wouldn't even... Are you serious? What on earth? Interesting. Huh. Why would you evolve to not have ears? Isn't that silly? That doesn't make any sense. What detriment could ears have on what? Okay, whatever. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. Like, really? Why were they not here? That's so weird. What? What? That makes me mad. What? Why would you not have ears, bro? That doesn't make sense. Wait, hold on. Can snakes hear? Snakes can hear. What? Snakes can hear and react to airborne sound. Snakes can hear vibrations between 50 and 1000 hertz. Snakes are completely deaf. Which one is it, you stupid internet bitch? I'm going to Google Scholar. This is insane. Abstract. Despite the absence of tympanic middle ears, snakes can hear. They are thought to primarily detect vibration via connections between the lower jaw and inner ear. We use the Western rat snake to determine how brain vibration is processed by the brain. Okay, thank you. Gosh damn it, like... I mean, isn't all vibrations just, isn't that what hearing is? Isn't hearing just you using the hairs in your ears to react to vibrations? Isn't that just hearing? But I guess it's how sensitive they are. Fascinating. Snakes only sense low frequency. I see. Okay. Interesting. And I'm sure they have like a much better sense of smell than they do hearing and seeing. I see. Okay. The mechanisms in the ear are just interpret vibrations. Okay, fascinating. So I guess snakes do the same thing. So what's to say that a snake wouldn't be able to hear a whistle? Okay. There's one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves forward. So, I'm not really sure a snake could manage to climb up a flat belly cord like the ones in those cabins. Then it should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator into the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this. Well... I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh no, you don't mean. Yes, we need to modify his latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling this was coming. Alright, let's try it. Yes, let's get involved. Cast your eyes down to your wrists again. Okay, let's do it. Course correction. Hold it! My favorite thing, I think, in Ace Attorney is Athena's hold it. Because I love how they bang the table, right? But I love Athena's in particular because she goes like, that's my favorite. She's like, Your Honor. I mess her. We need more. We need more. Okay, anyway. We claim the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes. When you recall those horrid events, your aching heart... Wait, what? She does have a pain expression on her face. Her aching heart smarts with pain. Okay. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholm has read it correctly. Is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression, then? Her hand? As in, she has a fault? She made a mistake? She made an oopsie? Oh, that's not good. A claw scratch? Something scratched you? Is it a cat? It has to be a cat, right? A cat would only make sense given the milk thing on the ground, given the tray of thing in the size, right? But how would a cat kill somebody? That doesn't make sense. Oh, Naruhito-san, look. There's a very painful wound. It looks like a scratch made from some kind of small animal, and fairly recently, too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Let's see.
Yes! Yes!
Yes. You recalled those horrid events. That claw's scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I'm sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it's that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the crime. So, we ask, what is the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel with, was it not? Another telltale glance. Without a doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. Snakes don't have claws. Okay. They don't even have hands or feet from which claws might grow. What's the true identity of this friend of hers? Follow her gaze. A rat? A mouse? A cat? It has to be a cat! Yeah, it's a cat.
Yes!
Oh, oops. You were looking over at this framed print, weren't you? But let's not be distracted by the print itself. Oh no. The frame is that your... Wait. It's the frame that's your friend, isn't it? Because it displays whatever you put inside it. That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I find myself wanting Deborah to have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, oops. We can be reasonably sure that the glance was aimed at a friend. Okay. Okay, let's look closer. The photograph in this frame. It must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true. But personally, it's the little black creature that she's holding that's caught my eye. Yes, the bell. And the bell on it. Yes, the bell on it. There's a bell. The bell on it is the same purple bell that was found in our cabin. So... But what would the whistling be? The cat was eating the chicken in our room? The cat was eating the chicken in our room? Maybe? How did the cat get in our room? A cat? The little cat she's cuddling here. What a cute kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Norohata-san? For the blackest outfit. A black kitten. And from the looks of this picture, Miss Pavlova seems really attached to it.
Yes!
Without a doubt, your little friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the little scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what's clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leads us in a quandary. The victim's written observations last night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, the specimen's marking do not fit the description in any way. What explanation could we then give? Pray? What explanation can we give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? Did you have a bandana on the cat? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary hidden behind your back. What is that? What is that supposed to be? Well, it's speckled in a band, but... Is it a toy? It's a cat toy! It seems to be soft and fluffy. A piece of cloth of some sort. Okay. Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. What would the cat's toy have to do with any of this? Was he playing with her cat or something, and then she killed him? What? That's weird.
Yes!
Don't fucking play with my fucking cat!
Yes, the thing that you're trying, but failing to conceal, is a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waited around, I presume? Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled tax toy to incite the creature to return. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, because the door was open, right? Is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Was the issue last night that there was a cat aboard and the crew couldn't catch it? A truly troublesome feline, young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. Hi, Eternal! Welcome back. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she's so naughty. Yes, but what would a cat have done to kill somebody? Death by a... Did he slip and fall? Did he slip and fall? Trying to play with a cat? What happened? What could have possibly happened? Is some sort of toxin? Okay, because I think that there was a poison in the food, which is why everyone had a headache, or there was some sort of neurotoxin in the air, which is why everyone has a headache. So there could have been something in the food. He didn't eat the food because he doesn't like chicken. So there could have been something in the chicken, right? The door was open and somehow it got closed because of like the ship moving. Why is there shoe polish and the cat's bell broken in the cabin? And why does he have choking? Why is he choked? He shouldn't be choked. How is he choked? How could he possibly have choked? Or there was issue, or there was some, his neck was broken. Did he break his neck trying to play with a cat? That's so stupid. That cannot possibly be it. It was an accident? How did this young man lose his life? That would be so stupid. No way. According to the data of which I've been apprised, it would appear that there's no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a venom. Okay, there's no sign of a wound anywhere on his body. That's right. But Mr. Shom seems to be unaware of a very important detail. He wasn't poisoned, right?
Yes!
Oh.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Yes, I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence that can affirm this at the scene of the crime. Did the ship tip over or something? Did the ship tip over? And he hit his neck? But why would everyone be asleep? An examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something or someone. No weapon has been found.
And how did his neck break with, what? He had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. He slipped on some stupid polish and died? Did the cat that wasn't supposed to be on board accidentally kill this man because he slipped and fall, and then she tried to go into the cabin to make it look like he was killed because she didn't want her cat to be in trouble and she didn't want to be found out? Are you kidding me? No, that can't be it.
Yes!
Oh.
Yes!
Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. The particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish, indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. Undeniable ingredients in shoe polish. And the color of the shoe polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asugi's laced leather shoes. Looking at the mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asugi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped! Please, no. And a dreadful turn of misfortune caught his neck somehow. Wait, and by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in an instant, he lost his life. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Papulobo? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asugi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hit the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. No, isn't it the ink?
Is there ink back here?
Something that would link her to the case. Something that would link her...
What's in here? The bell. I knew it.
Yes!
That's right. You hit the evidence that links you to the victim's death in the waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asugi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that a part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin. Two halves of a whole, right? You're well acquainted with this bell, are you not? I don't know. And the hush Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Because we have conclusive evidence that links you to the bell in question.
Yes!
Yes!
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see a hanging from darkest collar is this very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. Was the cat eating the chicken? And the cause of that fateful stumble? Was your cat? Your absent feline friend, Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Tripping over a cat? Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious or nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared through the vent before I could stop her. And that's how you acquired a rather nasty wound in the back of your hand, I take it. Yes. And I had read the rules on the wall. I knew that she wasn't allowed here. Yes, modern sightings suggest that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next door cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if somebody was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to lure the kitten back again? By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and through the adjoining cabin. Darka always loved this toy, but it didn't seem to work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. Okay. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she calmed down. But then... I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... Oh, it was a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it would seem likely what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Brio is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Isugi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, then a combination of unfortunate factors could have easily caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the next door cabin had died next to mine, but I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pabloba, then whose is it and where did it come from? Hello? Is that why you have those marks on your face? Hi, Dan. What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Eating mice? Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is what? Piroshko? Piroshko. That snake belongs to you. He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. How did the snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. We're at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend, without someone who understands?
Well, relationships with other people could help with...
You couldn't find someone a little more human to understand you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Hiroshiko does not have venom. He's harmless, very long, but gentle, adorable, like Granny. It's venomless. Yes, now he's hungry, so he's in a bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him mice? Is that why that cheese has not been disturbed? Like what they say. Like they say they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Grishko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Is that what the mouse trap in the passageway up there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. It refuses to drink milk, can't hear a whistle, can't climb up a bell cord, and isn't even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Perishko has nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Am I still... Can we kick these things off me now? Am I still like... So who's at fault? The cat? Can I get these handcuffs off me, please? And what's with the headache? Miss Pavlova? I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. It's a diminutive name. The sh would normally sound like g, like barrage, okay? But the voice is next to a voiceless consonant like K. So it would indeed be like Piroshko? Piroshko? I see. So funny about this snakes don't drink milk skit. It's actually a reference to how Sherlock Holmes' novel actually did think that snakes drink milk. Oh, that's funny. Okay. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikitoba? What lies? What, Miss Pavlova? Miss Pavlova confessed to everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident. Then why did she try to cover it up by writing Russian on the ground? And how did she know I was in the wardrobe? I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I do not have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhado? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. I know what it is! I confess. I was intending on to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Not again. When did you do that? Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. That the deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owe him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, then maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. And how that scene in the cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first? Was this truly an accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That's what we must establish in the first instance. But we already established it, haven't we? A man tripped over a kitten that had climbed into his cabin via a ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's what really happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in the cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let's show us the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident was...
Yes!
Yes! The truth is recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asuki could have left this message on the floor. That script. It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would have left a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It's a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. That actually is not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There's no way that Mr. Asuki could have left this message on the floor, and the reason why is clearly explained here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. So how could he have written it down? Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't have possibly written anything, because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in this cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't have possibly been there if Miss Pavlova said was true. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves that this was no mere accident. In other words, well, how could they have known about me being in the wardrobe? Another thing that proves that this isn't an accident. Is it the seal? Because how could they have known to have said wardrobe if I'm in it? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna present this. It might be wrong, though.
Yes!
What point are you trying to make with that evidence? I'm starting to see how his death really happened, I think. No, I don't. I think I was wrong. If there was no accident, we should be looking for two things. Cause, right? A motive, right? The absence is something that you would expect to find at the scene of an accident. Or the presence is something that you wouldn't. And the log too. The log being weird doesn't make any sense either. I feel like it's the log, but it really could be the postmortem report too. I could think of it like him knowing her identity is a problem. I could think of it like him know, like, how could they have known he's in the wardrobe? I could think of it like is this even the right color as well? Does it even match his shoe? It could be the ship's log as well.
Yes!
Yeah. I'm struggling a little bit here. Let's think. The absence of something you would expect to find at the scene of an accident. Or the presence of something that you wouldn't. Something that should have been there. Putting this message on the floor aside. It could be his diary. It's either the scup or the diary, I think. You're right. I feel bad here because I feel like I might have brought this up at some point, but like, does it even match his shoe? Also, what is Q? What is review scene? Proves that it was not. Wasn't there a blunt object too? A strong blow to the area, right? Am I dumb?
Yes.
I'm dumb. Like, I feel like I'm missing something. Why am I so silly? What's going on? What could it possibly be? No, like, is it a diary? Was it the... It's the incorrect color, right? It doesn't even match his shoe. Oh, the glass. Okay, sure, the glass. Yeah. It was broken when the victim tripped over the cat, right? Great. The fatal flaw. What could it be? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. It's the fact that the bell shouldn't have been in the room in the first place. Yes, duh. Okay, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, yes, sure. I thought we already established that. Okay, cool. Yeah, what? Yes. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, why is it in here? Both of these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Sugi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth. In order to cover up his or her own guilt. Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Suzuki's... Oop. You're wasting time. Someone else was there. Of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from the inside. There is no way in or out. Oh, yes. And the only person who died in the cabin was when the young student died was you. That's true. I was in a cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I could have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. I mean, because the thing was locked. As I was saying, the person in question who wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there for the entire time. And then the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen on the floor for fear of it becoming evidence that it would show Mr. Uzuki how he really died. But why would this person have taken all the pieces, wouldn't have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half of the bell behind is going to raise questions. Well, yes. It was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would have barely cast any light on the floor there. A little wonder, then, how the culprit failed to notice a fragment of a tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Seaman Stroganoff. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Oh, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. Look in truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted from inside. Nobody could go in cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or do you not want to tell me that the killer can walk through locked doors? Night. It's impossible. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread through locked hatches and so they can close them from inside, from the outside.
Thread, are you stupid? These bulkheads aren't barn doors. Certainly not. They are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with not a gap in sight, no threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too, but Mr. Naruhado suggested it earlier, so... Hello? So the Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the inside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. Well, Mr. Naruhado, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Of course.
Yes!
Look at the bookcase. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have been when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It was a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown in reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, that is what we've known, what is known as the force of inertia, acting on the object. Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or is it in their book at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We came into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change in speed. Or the force of inepta. Hello? Are you trying to say that last night after Mrs. Sugi was killed, the door was open? Is that how the chicken fell over? The SS Berea made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if somebody had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then when we came into the cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Isugi's cabin. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pablobo? Are you out of your mind? You say Berea made an emergency stop. It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, isn't it it's simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm? Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone, hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button is almost compelled to press at one's... Wait, the sort of button is almost compelled to press to one's curiosity, satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. Mr. Sholmes, did you press the button? Surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learnt a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what had happened to Mr. Isugi, did this ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You are idiots. Berea is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make an emergency stop, even in the middle of the night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night?
Yes!
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 Your duty is to protect the patrol the first class cabin area, right? That is correct. Why? In the ship's log here, this is where you would record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine. You rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau and the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That's where I always put it. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log. That is... Yes, because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Berea. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish. If I'm perfectly honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop had really happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That is very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine anyone would sleep through that, even if it had happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. But why does everyone have headaches? Why does everyone have headaches? Why does everyone have a headache? What of the throbbing? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We all have suffered with it. Oh, yes, I have a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself ever since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you all have been afflicted, haven't you? It's just as I suspected. He's right, my head has been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. As if I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe. And those handcuffs had been put on me at that point. Why didn't I wake up when all of this was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Yes, sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Mr. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken.
Was it actually the chicken? I thought it was the chicken. He didn't eat the chicken. But everyone else ate the chicken, right? So there was something in the chicken. Did we all have food poisoning?
Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? That's what I thought! Yeah, I do. No. Really? Is that true? The meal prepped for the passengers last night had been tampered with.
That's what I was saying! You know what? I'm telling you, I got the mind of a mastermind. I'm like, what? What's with that chicken? Tampered with by the addition of some soporific, what? Soporific, what? Designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. So somebody tampered with the chicken.
A sleeping drug. Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the emergency stop? That doesn't make any sense.
Who laced the chicken? And why does she have the chicken too when she's in second class? Did somebody go down to the thing and tamper with the chicken? What?
Mr. Naruhito, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger with a drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of this crew was a conspirator.
Excuse me?
Did you poison specifically the non-Russians? Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And that were to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abiding in a renegade. Please, no more. I will tell everything. Eh? I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put a sleeping drug in chicken last night.
That's what I thought! See, like, come on, you can't hide from me. I knew there was something wrong with that chicken. Anyway, I remember now.
I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. We could not make all drug. How could you say dissolve? Ugh. At midnight, near the waters in Shanghai, we brought the angel on board. So we made an emergency stop. Okay. She was held by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat, all while the passengers of the SS Berea slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical efforts of the slumber-inducing potion and their evening meals had contained. So y'all knew that she needed help, so you put sleeping drugs in the chicken so nobody would notice that you made an emergency stop? So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, the people who dislike chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case. There would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Of course. Only certain rooms have this mechanism? Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by the tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes. The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with the cabin doors bolted anyway, so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning.
But how did they know that I was in the wardrobe?
You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried to desperately hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. You speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am Sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhado. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt in the wind. What's the accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, but you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhado, with your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said, of the two
What the fuck? Damn, they failed me in school. What in the world is that? The what? Provocateurs? The what? Where's the audio? Hold on.
Prevaricator.
What? Prevaricator? I don't even know what that is. That's a new one for me.
Okay, observation. If you remember, Mr. Naruhado, we know somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Isugi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. I'll see what I can see. We're looking for a trace of evidence that shows that somebody else was there last night when Kazuma died. What suggests that somebody else was there at the scene? Ink? Look at this. There's some kind of stain in an unusual place. You're right. It looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken. And the color, it's clear where this came from.
Yes!
Oh, sorry.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Yes, I don't know where that dirt comes from. So is there anything in particular comes to mind? Nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain? What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of his uniform, and I think it's made something clear. The evidence that proves what stain on the stain on the back of his uniform is
Yes!
oh, sorry.
Yes!
It's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink? A rather unusual color of ink. Purple. The penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is of ink of the exact same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained the uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright. Yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like the wardrobe man did it. Then I pressed button to make Maria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling Passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw Student Boy on the floor. What happened in here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend. Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Isugi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident, when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard the sound of something falling to the floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind. What? How did you know he was in there? When you went into Mr. Isugi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside, I'm asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Girl, what the fuck is that? Yes. Oh, thanks. It's yes. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So that's finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? No, because why did they know? Who knew? Who knows Japanese? How did they know I was in here? I gotta pee. They should not have known I was in there. It was secret. All right, be right back. We'll get to the bottom of this in a moment. 1 second.
Were you enjoying the song? Well, that's too bad. That is too fucking bad. All right, let's continue. I need to know what's happening here. Okay. All right, here we go. Back to this. What? Sholmes going to pee mid-case. Oh, I am Sholmes. Given my logic and deductive reasoning, no, cause for real. Hang on. Okay. Let's see. What the hell is this? High Trailblazer Firefly is looking to make a return. Please take a look. Okay. Yeah, anyway. We haven't learned the truth because we don't know who speaks Japanese. Exactly. Pull for Firefly and ditch Shuei. That would make the game so substantially less interesting. Oh my god. No way. I'd rather get like 7 Feixiaos. Please. Anyway, something slipped my mind. In this photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. The unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten, on which the victim stumbled. However, if these are the facts, there is one particular area of this photograph that seems to be somewhat unnatural. Exactly how did they know I was in the wardrobe? What do you mean, unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, well... If Mr. Kazuma tripped and fell by some sort of terrible stroke of bad luck in his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? It's the text.
Yes!
This word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Kazuma, so if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. Very true. It is certainly particular, but it's not what I meant by unnatural, I'm afraid. That particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. I mean to identify another point. Oh, I see. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed as the victim appears to have done here, it would be at most unnatural. I'm sure you would reach the same conclusion. How thoughtful you are, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your guidance. Was I wrong? Was I wrong? Wait. What's unnatural? If he tripped and fell. What did Herlock say? Imagine, if you will, losing your footing. If you landed as the victim appears to have done here, it would be most natural. The neck. I mean, yeah. Would the neck have been? Wouldn't he have been backwards? Wouldn't he have been backwards? He would have fall. Assuming he fell back. Yeah. Assuming he fell backwards. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, he wouldn't have fallen forward. He wouldn't be on his back, right? Assuming he fell forward, what would be natural in this pick? For him to have blunt force trauma to his head? Unnatural? What looks unnatural? I don't fucking know. What? The face? Like, what? Unnatural? I mean, what's unnatural is that they knew, but like, I don't know what is necessarily unnatural about the pose. If you fell on the ground, if you fell, what would be your first course of action? Your hands, your hands are your first instinct. Your hands would be open, right? Okay, yeah. Why does he have a fist?
Yes.
All right, if he really fell to an unfortunate accident, then his fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open palms flat. Yeah, here we see the victim with his hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost might you say, as though he was gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us. What could it have been? What would have been in his fist? His badge? An earring? She does have one earring. But why would it be in her? Astra Yao, huh? Observation, Mr. Naruhado, that's the key. The truth is tantalizingly close. How did the crescent moon come to be in his clenched fist? The last piece of the puzzle. Why would it be in his hand? Miss Pavlova, on your ear there, I see you have a crescent moon as well. What? And on your other ear, there seems to be a crescent moon missing. The little link holding onto it must have broken, perhaps. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? Miss Pavlova, Mr. Isugi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Isugi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally an arm's length of him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Isugi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was just too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the last night, trying to climb into this huge ship, and then when I was at last in this cabin, I could relax after this horrible long day. I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back. What are you doing here at this time of the night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised to not tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, I was going to leave the man's cabin. Just a moment, sorry, but... Oh, yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Of course. You're Nicola Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land far away in the east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... Oh no! I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. And that's when he went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out. I thought on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at the cabin door, shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Beef. If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go." So you decided to help, and that's when you arranged things in the cabin to make it look like I did it, so that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes, I went into the cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. Then I found a stowaway in the wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway. I closed the wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when she said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place, used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote wardrobe so that the person who found him would look inside the wardrobe and find stowaway. And tell me, what of this glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back into her cabin and I finished the job by pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Berea did indeed come to an emergency halt a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you run away from your homeland, and it's because you were worried that he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes, but even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. He said an inspector was his friend. Oh. I thought that if the police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Usugi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think? No, he was gonna ask me. What? He was gonna find me in the wardrobe and ask for my opinion. Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was gonna pull the cord. He was gonna make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day of work is not yet done. There's one more deduction to make. Another deduction? Yes, his action was... What action was the victim really about to make at that moment? He was gonna open the door and ask me my opinion. Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. He was gonna go to bed. He was gonna go to sleep. Ah! Pillow perfectionist. That's so funny. Why?
Take that!
Considering everything that happened last night, it certainly may have looked as though he was going to ring the bell cord. But however, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe. And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? Me! Miss Pavlova, please, think back carefully. What were Mr. Azugi's exact word last night? Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. Mr. Azugi's intent was to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them they might be found to be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure what Mr. Azugi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done? And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic incident on the SS Berea was finally laid to rest. Now, what am I about to do? Go to Japan? Or go to Britain? 7 p.m.? What will happen to Miss Pavlova now, then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Can somebody tell me what it means? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort that all out. Mr. Sholmes can do that. So she won't be going back to Russia then? Reclaim, basically. Okay. No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return to in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what, but I didn't think about you and how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste, but... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Yeah. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yeah, I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. I don't really have one. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we tear up the streets of London. It seems like a distant memory now. Like I said last stream, this specific case plays like an Edgeworth case than an it. Oh, I've already played Edgeworth. Yeah, I just haven't played Investigations 2. I played every Ace Attorney except Investigations 2 and this one. And the one after this. What's that? Is it someone weeping? Tusado-san? Naruhado-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hasanaga just told me I should pack. You know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. Yeah, you know, I definitely played Investigations 1 because, listen. Contradiction at the crime scene. Turn it up. Oh yeah. I love that song. Anyway, I used to be so obsessed with it because I'm like, why is it so long? What? I was like, why is it so long, dude? Anyway, yes, we should pack for tomorrow. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Tusado-san. He had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain, so many dreams, and now they've just been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person who's responsible. But now we know the truth, that it was just an accident, just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhado-san. It's too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asugi-san safely to Britain, but I failed, and I caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I let everyone down, and I would do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again, now at Shalms! Surprise, Mr. Naruhado? What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall I say. You're a stowaway, after all. Mr. Shalms, we do appreciate your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you'll be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan to make a full report about everything that has happened. Wait, what? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. Was to be. In light of Mr. Usugi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Do I have to? Okay, I'll do it. Oh no. I don't care for me, but poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is 1 lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourself another suitable lawyer. Yes? Miss Sasato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but I'm about to now. I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there is still more than a month until we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I can to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruhodo, that's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting that anyone can learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma. He said there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. Money! Cha-ching! I know that's right! Cha-ching! Are you kidding me? Hello? Talk about pay! Money! I know that's right! I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Sasato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector have to say? Are you serious? 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, no, no. It's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measures of man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes, from the early hours of this morning to this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, despite the accusation of his guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make up a report. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, I'm gonna try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer? I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like for you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword. It's been in the Yasuki clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. Should we give it to his family? What am I doing with it? Oh, I would have been mad. I would have been mad. His mom was gonna be like, "You left our fucking family heirloom in Great Britain?" Oh, I'd be pissed. Ah! What? Oh, I'd be so pissed. That's been in the family for 400 years. That's not mine. Oh, I don't want that. Oh, I would not be happy. So then, Miss Sosato, it would seem that we'd be working together for some time come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask you two. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin. Oop. No, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should have never thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times? I'm assuming this changes based on my responses throughout the game. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. I don't know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Yeah, and didn't somebody die just because of the act of moving somebody else's body? I think we're good with throwing bodies around. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling? Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of ancient jujitsu technique. Apparently, it's called a Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beluga... Beguiling. I'm a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I'm somewhat of an accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Oh, of course. Are you serious? Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, indeed. Arresting indeed. And is that what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually, no. That was a Susato squash. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Karuma. That's right. It's a prized sword that has been passed down through generations of the Asugi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I cannot be parted with my katana. Kurama guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Oh, of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what it was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. He's going to my house, dude! My London British home! Oh, hello. For a spot of tea and crumpets! For a spot of fucking, what's it called? Cricket! What if we skipped Hoyo and played more? It's 4 a.m. What? I would go to bed at this point. I've been streaming for how long now? It's not 5 a.m. yet. Reset has already happened. Like, I mean, can't we just call it today? Upper half rerun banner, Jade Boothill Linksha. Fuck. So what are we playing? I hate Star Rail so fucking much, dude. I hate Star Rail. Oh, I hate Star Rail. Ah, I hate Star Rail. I hate Star Rail. Ah. Just a bit of episode 3. Why can't we just start episode 3 when we come back in 10 weeks? More rivals. It's just an intro? Okay, fine. We'll do the intro. How's about that? All right. You're so easy to convince. I am
bended by the wills of the people that support me. So, yes. Well, that was nice. That was good. Okay. Well, I think we should call it, and we can yeah. That sounds good to me. Um
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner. My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude, the beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
Yep, that's Britain. Spots of tea and crumpets, fragrant soaps, tea.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
The capital and horse carriages.
Where to?
Oh,
Where to?
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Scones.
The Supreme Court in White.
The Supreme Court?
Mind.
My pleasure.
Let me take your luggage.
You're visiting students from abroad, eh?
yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay.
Taylor.
And welcome to the centre of the world. Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
London. You like cheese? We got cheese aboard. Sorry. Let's kill Ace. These are my people. Okay, I can do this. Okay. The 18th of February at 9:21 a.m., the British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It's like a fortress. Can I stop? There are some stone buildings like this in Japan, of course. But they've only been built a few short decades since we've opened our borders to the outside world. Alright, I agreed for the cutscene. Yeah. Alright, cool. Y'all want Hoyo before bed? I mean, I was gonna play anyway. I just didn't know exactly what I was gonna do. I mean, I gotta do Simulate Universe. The problem... What day can we expect more of this? I don't know. I guess we'll have to talk about it, and I won't be Scott Soul Gym. Wouldn't that be nice to know? Let's ask Abby. We are not doing a world quest. I will fall asleep. I will die. I will die. You will see me. You will see the life exit my body. I will shrivel up like a fucking raisin. I'll be like, if I do a world quest right now. Oh my god. I mean, I could just stop too. I mean, just do Simulate Universe tomorrow. I gotta still do that event too. And work on that. Let's talk about Link Show rerunning. I fucking hate Star Rail, man. Like, god damn it. Like, can I splurge on one character without you trying to rerun, like, anything? Like, I'm just so... Man. Hang on. Let me think about this. What do I want to do? If I was gonna play it anyway, then I probably should, like... Star Rail. What do we have to do in Star Rail? Well, we need to... Where the fuck did this come from? What? Okay. I guess I was just sitting next to me for some reason. What was I gonna say? We need to do the new Herta event. Or the Herta mode. Pure Fiction? Should I do Pure Fiction now? I could do Pure Fiction now, right? Don't forget your overlay. Oh yeah, you're so right. Let me... You don't deserve her. Oh, I wouldn't be using her on break teams. That's disgusting. I'd be using her on erudition teams with Jade. Oh, I'm not like you people. I would never use her in that setting. I would use her in follow-up. I would use her... Oh, yo, before bed. Also, I'm going to restart stream. Give me 30